Good evening, everyone. It's 6:30, and I now call to order this February 11th, 2025 meeting of Lancaster City Council. A few things at the top of the meeting. First, an announcement. We had an executive session. It was held this evening, Tuesday, February 11th, 2025, this evening at 6 p.m. at Council Chambers, City Hall, to discuss personnel and legal matters related to a pension disability request of Michael Dietz.
Thank you, Council President.
Oh, that's later. Sorry. That will appear in our legislative agenda this evening. I'm going to continue with my other reminders at the top of the meeting. This meeting and its participants are being recorded. Please take a moment to silence your phones and other devices as a courtesy to others if you haven't done so already. During this meeting, there will be several opportunities for public comment. Anyone making comment should do so at the microphone right in front of you there so that you can be heard. Comments should be related to issues that have or may come before council as legislative items and should be addressed toward council rather than to others in the room. Each speaker will be given 3 minutes. To keep time, you will see the light here in front of me turn green when a speaker begins. It'll turn yellow when there's 1 minute remaining, and it will turn green when 3 minutes has been exhausted. Thank you to everyone in advance for ensuring that everyone has equal time. And now, for all of those who are willing and able, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Harris, would you please call the roll of members?
Yes, Madam President. Mr. Med.
Here.
Mr. Arroyo.
Here.
Mr. Cleese.
Here.
Ms. Craig.
Here.
Ms. Diaz.
Here.
Mr. Hirsch.
Here.
President Baker.
Here. We'll now move to the approval of the minutes of the January 28th, 2025 regular meeting of council.
Motion to approve. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any council comments on the minutes? Hearing none, Mr. Harris.
Mr. Med.
Aye.
Mr. Arroyo.
Aye.
Mr. Cleese.
Aye.
Ms. Craig.
Aye.
Ms. Diaz.
Aye.
Mr. Hirsch.
Aye.
And President Baker.
Aye. The next item on our agenda are proclamations, honors, awards, and resolutions of recognition, of which we have one this evening. Resolution number 9, 2025. Mr. Harris.
Yes, Madam President. A resolution of the Council of the City of Lancaster designating February 2025 as Black History Month in the City of Lancaster and recognizing resistance to injustice by African Americans throughout Lancaster history.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Councilor Craig.
Council President, this resolution was read into record during the committee meeting last week, and I don't feel the need to reread it because it's quite lengthy.
Thank you, Councilor Craig, and thank you for reading that into our meeting record. And we thank you and the work that you did together. As with previous years, this was drafted with the help of the local chapter of the NAACP. Are there any additional comments, council comments on the resolution?
Council President, if I may.
Councilor Ahmed.
I just want to thank Councilor Craig for introducing this resolution, and I want to thank the City of Lancaster for its commitment to celebrating Black History Month, especially in a time nationally where it does not seem to be prioritized. So I just want to thank members of council and thank the city for its commitment to our Black community here in Lancaster.
Thank you, Councilor Ahmed. Additional comments from members of council? From the public on the resolution? Hearing none, Mr. Harris.
Mr. Med.
Aye.
Mr. Arroyo.
Aye.
Mr. Cleese.
Aye.
Ms. Craig.
Aye.
Ms. Diaz.
Aye.
Mr. Hirsch.
Aye.
And President Baker.
Aye. Thank you. The next item on our agenda is public comment. This is section reserved for residents who have contacted the city clerk prior to the meeting to request the opportunity to address city council. Again, duration of comments is limited to 3 minutes per speaker. Just confirming, Mr. Harris, are there any public comments for this period?
No, Madam President, no one contacted me in advance of the meeting.
Thank you very much. Then we'll move on to our next agenda item this evening, which is reports requested by council. I don't believe we have any of those. Is that correct, Mr. Harris?
That is correct.
Thank you. The next item on our agenda is reports of committees of council. These are the meetings held on February 3rd, 2025. We begin with the Public Safety Committee. Councilor Diaz.
The Public Safety did not meet.
Thank you, Councilor Diaz. Public Works Committee. Councilor Hirsch.
Thank you, Council President. The Public Works Committee had 3 agenda items, all of which will be seen in our agenda this evening here at Council. Resolution 10, authorizing cost-sharing agreement with Manheim Township, and Resolutions 15 and 16, which are seeking approval for use of right-of-way. They're permit applications and agreements that are to be made with Railway Auditing Management Services and Norfolk Southern. And that concludes the report of the Public Works Committee.
Thank you, Councilor Hirsch. Economic Development Committee. Councilor Ahmed.
Thank you, Council President. The Economic Development Committee did not meet.
Thank you. Finance Committee. Councilor Arroyo.
Thank you, Council President. The Finance Committee did meet. We had 3 items on our agenda for that evening. We discussed Resolution Number 1225, amending the supplemental pension plan for city employees, and Resolution Number 1325, exoneration of utility fees. Both of those items will be on the agenda later this evening. We also received an update on a bond issuance from Director Campbell. She gave an overview of an upcoming general obligation bond issuance that will be brought forward to council in a proposed ordinance. The bond issue will be for a total of $55.3 million, and the debt will be divided among the general fund, water fund, and sewer fund. Next month, we will also have a list of the projects that will be funded by the bond issue. That concludes my report, Council President.
Thank you, Councilor Arroyo. Community Planning Committee. Councilor Craig.
Thank you, Council President. Community Planning did meet. We had 1 item on the agenda. That was Administration Resolution 1425, adopting substantial amendments to the Community Development Block Grant Annual Action Plan. And that will come up on our agenda, our legislative agenda, in just a little bit.
Thank you very much, Councilor Craig. And Personnel Committee. Councilor Kalixt.
Thank you, Madam President. The Personnel Committee did meet on February 3rd and review a nomination to reappointment to the City Revitalization and Improvement Zone Authority. That concludes my reports.
Thank you very much. We'll now move into our legislative agenda. The first item is an authorization of action. This is related to our executive session. This would be authorizing or denying a request for disability pension for Michael Dietz. I believe, Councilor Craig, you wanted to address this.
Thank you. Upon recommendation of the Bureau of Police Officers Relief, the Police Pension Board, City Council met in an executive session to review the disability pension application of Michael Dietz. Based upon the unanimous recommendation of the Bureau of Police Officers Relief and the information provided to councilors during the executive session, I hereby make a move to approve Michael Dietz's application for a disability pension.
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Craig. We have a motion and a second to approve the request. Are there any council comments on the motion? From the public? Hearing none. Mr. Harris?
Mr. Med.
Aye.
Mr. Arroyo.
Aye.
Mr. Cleese.
Aye.
Ms. Craig.
Aye.
Ms. Diaz. Mr. Hirsch.
Aye.
And President Baker.
Aye. Move into the second item on our legislative agenda this evening. These are nominations for appointment. Councilor Kalixt, I believe you have an item.
Thank you, Madam President. This nomination was reviewed on February 3rd by the Personnel Committee and full council. Now I'll make a motion to reappoint Shelby Norman to the City Revitalization and Improvement Zone Authority for a term from December 31st, 2024 to December 31st, 2029.
Second.
We have a motion and a second on the appointment. Any additional council comments for the appointment of Ms. Nauman? From the public? Hearing none, Mr. Harris.
Mr. Mann.
Aye.
Mr. Arroyo.
Aye.
Mr. Cleese.
Aye.
Ms. Craig.
Aye.
Ms. Diaz.
Aye.
Mr. Hirsch.
Aye.
And President Baker.
Aye. Next item is item C, resolutions. We begin with Administration Resolution Number 10, 2025. Mr. Harris.
A resolution of the Council of the City of Lancaster approving an intermunicipal agreement for cost sharing of Marshall Avenue roadway base repairs between Manheim Township and the City of Lancaster.
Motion to approve. Second.
We have a motion and a second. This is coming through Public Works. Councilor Hirsch.
Thank you, Council President. This resolution is essentially entering the city into a cost-sharing agreement with Manheim Township. As many of you may know, Marshall Avenue is along the northern border and southern of the city and the southern border of Manheim Township, and it zigzags pretty chaotically, and so this kind of allows the city to enter into an agreement where they are taking on the portion of the cost that is proportionate to the city's ownership of the road, which in this case, these improvements are primarily going to be to improve biking and walking infrastructure along Marshall Ave. Total cost is roughly $62,000, so it's a pretty low-cost project on the whole. The city is going to take 82% of that as they own 82% of that roadway. It's not a full resurfacing project. It's base improvements to the roadway to allow the additional infrastructure to be put in. And my understanding is that the work is slated to take place later this year. Is that correct? Director Campbell is nodding. So that's pretty much the deal with this round.
Thank you very much, Councilor Hirsch. I'll just say whoever figured out that we owned 82% specifically of the road, kudos to them.
Spent a lot of time in GIS, I bet.
Yeah. Any additional council comments on the resolution? From the public? Hearing none, Mr. Harris.
Mr. Mann.
Aye.
Mr. Arroyo.
Aye.
Mr. Cleese.
Aye.
Ms. Craig.
Aye.
Ms. Diaz.
Aye.
Mr. Hirsch.
Aye.
And President Baker.
Aye. The next item is Administration Resolution Number 11, 2025. Mr. Harris.
A resolution of the Council of the City of Lancaster approving the Pride flag raising to acknowledge the start of Pride Month in June 2025 as brought forth by the Lancaster Pride Association.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Members of council, thank you so much for allowing me to introduce this resolution. This is for a flag raising that will take place on June 2nd, 2025, with the inclement weather date of June 3rd, 2025. The request was submitted in a timely manner, and we look forward to raising the flag again this coming June for Pride Month. Are there any additional council comments on the resolution? From the public? Hearing none, Mr. Harris.
Mr. Mann.
Aye.
Mr. Arroyo.
Aye.
Mr. Cleese.
Aye.
Ms. Craig.
Craig. Aye.
Ms. Diaz.
Aye.
Mr. Hirsch.
Aye.
And President Baker.
Aye. All right. Our next item on the agenda is Resolution Number 12, 2025. Mr. Harris.
A resolution of the City of Lancaster, Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, amending the City of Lancaster supplemental pension plan in order to reflect that the effective January 1st, 2023, the matching percentage with respect to a police officer hired on or after January 1, 2011, became equal to 35% of the amount contributed by the participant.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second on the resolution. This is coming through the Finance Committee. Councilor Arroyo.
Thank you, Council President. Director Campbell went through this resolution during our last Finance Committee meeting. We are amending the City of Lancaster supplemental pension plan to reflect the correct amount of matching contribution for police officers hired on or after January 1 of 2011. The plan currently incorrectly states that this is 25%. So this resolution will correct the matching contribution amount to 35%. We reinstated the plan last year at this time in February of 2024 with the inclusion then of firefighters who were included starting in January 2024. However, we didn't make the correct, However, we failed to make the correct to the matching percentage for police at that time. This resolution will correct that.
Thank you very much, Councilor Arroyo. Are there any additional council comments on the resolution? From the public? Hearing none, Mr. Harris.
Mr. Med,
Aye.
Mr. Arroyo,
Aye.
Mr. Cleese,
Aye.
Ms. Gregg,
Aye.
Ms. Diaz,
Aye.
Mr. Hirsch,
Aye.
President Baker.
Aye. We will now move to Administration Resolution Number 13, 2025. Mr. Harris.
A resolution of the Council of the City of Lancaster exonerating 2024 water charges in the amount of $63,700.50 and sewer charges in the amount of $64,110.64 for city-owned or related properties at 25 locations.
Motion to approve?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Councilor Arroyo.
Thank you, Council President. This is a resolution that is brought before council on an annual basis. It is done because the city tracks water and sewer usage at city properties, mostly to detect leaks or unusual usage. We don't bill ourselves for this usage. The charges are exonerated annually to clear them from the financial accounts. 2 properties on the list are not city-owned, the library and the fire line at the Lancaster Airport. The water and the sewer service to the library is considered an in-kind contribution from the city, and the service to the airport is done in exchange for the airport providing the city use of its large-capacity snow blowers in case of a major snowstorm.
Thank you very much, Councilor Arroyo. Are there any additional council comments on the resolution? From the public? Hearing none, Mr. Harris.
Mr. Med,
Aye.
Mr. Arroyo,
Aye.
Mr. Cleese,
Aye.
Ms. Gregg,
Aye.
Ms. Diaz,
Aye.
Mr. Hirsch,
Aye.
President Baker.
Aye. We will now move to Resolution Number 14, 2025. Mr. Harris.
A resolution of the Council of the City of Lancaster authorizing the mayor to submit substantial amendments for the following documents. 1, the combined 2021 to 2025 Consolidated Plan and the 2021 Annual Action Plan, and 2, the 2022 Annual Action Plan, and 3, the 2023 Annual Action Plan, and 4, the 2024 Annual Action Plan to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. The submission includes projected changes in the use of funds for the Community Development Block Grant Program during the 2021, 2022, 2023, and 2024 program years.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Councilor Craig.
Thank you, Council President. As presented by Deputy Director Geiser and Community Development Administrator Jen Rummel at committee meeting on the 3rd, they are recommending substantial amendments to each of the annual action plans for 2021 through 2024. The proposed amendments to the program would increase funding for the critical repair program and lead hazard reduction program. Administrations by $199,000, community facilities by $75,000, and affordable housing solutions approximately $305,200. Also in the presentation listed are the 4 areas that would see reduction primarily due to spending caps within the CDBG program. That was presented by Deputy Director Geiser and Jen Rummel, and if there's any questions, I see that Ms. Geiser is here.
Thank you very much, Councilor Craig. Ms. Geiser, do you have anything to add?
Yes, thank you. Thanks for the summary, the lengthy summary of our long amendments this evening. I just wanted to highlight two things. That we are recommending these changes presuming that we will get the 2025 CDBG funding for the city. However, with the uncertainty in the federal government, the federal allocations for CDBG may change, and if our allocation significantly changes, we would have to reassess our substantial amendments and potentially come back to you with additional changes, which we try not to do, but that may be required if there is an unexpected decrease next year. I also wanted to note that last week we received a question about our total efforts toward affordable housing since we are reallocating about $300,000 to affordable housing, and I wanted to provide just a snapshot of the total dollars the city has invested in affordable housing because it's just astronomical and noteworthy. So since 2018, we have allocated $8.1 million for 492 lead hazard control projects, $1.5 million for 152 home repair projects, $4.4 million for 363 units of affordable housing that was rehabilitated, and $11.6 million for 284 new affordable housing units. And the grand total is $25.6 million invested in affordable housing, representing a commitment by you, the City Council, and the Mayor to this initiative. And although we are only able to reallocate $300,000 across 5 years, the total allocation is more than $1 million over the 5 years just from CDBG alone. And we've been able to accomplish this unprecedented funding by allocating small amounts, large amounts, big grants, small grants throughout all of these years to accumulate to this total. So I wanted to just bring that to your attention and thank you all again for your commitment to affordable housing over all the years.
Thank you very much, Rebecca, and thank you for that summary. I think that's important to keep that in perspective. Little projects and big projects.
Yes.
Additional comments from council on the resolution? From the public?
I have a question.
Good evening.
Good evening. Susie Gomez, 100 block of North Reservoir Street.
Thank you.
Can you explain to me, CBBG funding, is that government funding?
Yes, that's federal government funding.
Okay, so total of investment of, you said 25.6 million?
The $25.6 million that I was referencing just now was the amount of affordable housing investment we've made since 2018 to 2024 across many different funding streams. The CDBG allocation is about $1.5 million per year.
And that is government funding, correct?
Yes.
Okay. The other question would be, you had mentioned increased funding. The $305,000 is being allocated, is that correct? Reallocated. So you're going from 2020 to 2024 to show rejected funds? Can you explain that a little better?
Ms. Gomez, just to make sure you keep your time, is there anything further that you'd like Ms. Geiser to explain? Just
She can explain it now.
Okay,
That's why I'm asking.
great. Just want to make sure.
Yeah.
Ms. Geiser?
So due to changes over the past 4 years in spending, mostly due to caps and staff vacancies, we have needed to change how we anticipated to spend the money to what is realistic at this point today. And so these changes represent reallocating money that we had previously allocated, or council had previously allocated, from 2021 to 2024, and shifting them from one bucket into other buckets, and primarily critical repair and lead hazard control and affordable housing.
Thank you, Ms. Geiser.
Yes. So one last question. You want to reassess and make changes for what?
From what?
For what?
Ms.
You're reassessing these fundings from the
If
years.
I may endeavor to answer the question. So we are required to update these plans as funds are reallocated into these different categories. So we are doing that with this measure.
Yeah, but you're turning it in, you're also doing the annual action plan.
Right.
You're taking all that into consideration without, so meaning that there is funds available for housing.
And that's what these funds
And-
are used for. Is that correct, Ms. Geiser?
We are reallocating unspent funds from staffing vacancies over the past 4 years into affordable housing and lead hazard control and critical repair projects.
we're
So
taking them
they're
out.
getting more money. The affordable housing and critical repair projects are receiving more funding.
Out of administrative costs and into the actual affordable housing.
Yes.
Thank you.
So my point very quickly was just that because of there's funding available, we have a housing crisis in Lancaster City. And I think that is very unfair to the public.
Any additional public comments on the resolution? Hearing none, and before we vote, I'll just make clear to council, as Ms. Geiser reiterated twice during her presentation, that these are funds that are being reallocated into affordable housing supportive products and out of administrative costs. Mr. Harris?
Mr. Bennett.
Aye.
Mr. Roy.
Aye.
Mr. Cleese.
Aye.
Ms. Craig.
Aye.
Ms. Diaz. Mr. Hirsch.
Aye.
And President Bacon.
Aye. The next item on our legislative agenda is Administration Resolution Number 15, 2025. Mr. Harris.
A resolution of the Council of the City of Lancaster authorizing the mayor to sign the standard pipe license agreement between Norfolk Southern Railway Company and remit payment of $5,000 for fees required to the license agreement on behalf of the City of Lancaster.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Councilor Hirsch.
Thank you, Council President. So resolutions number 15 and 16 are very similar in nature. They are essentially agreements that give us, or we are essentially approving the ability to use the right-of-way to do future infrastructure projects. In this case, it's a ductile pipe that is in Columbia, Pennsylvania, as part of our water infrastructure there. And so applying and paying this permit fee essentially allows that work to be done. That's really all there is to this.
Thank you very much, Councilor Hirsch. Are there any additional comments on the resolution from council? From the public? Hearing none, Mr. Harris.
Mr. Bennett. Aye. Mr. Roy.
Aye.
Mr. Cleese.
Aye.
Ms. Craig.
Aye.
Ms. Diaz.
Aye.
Mr. Hirsch.
Aye.
And President Bacon.
Aye. Next item on the agenda is Administration Resolution Number 16, 2025. Mr. Harris.
A resolution of the Council of the City of Lancaster authorizing the mayor to sign the standard pipe license agreement between Railway Auditing and Management Services for remit payment of $6,750 for fees required in the license agreement on behalf of the City of Lancaster.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Councilor Hirsch. This sounds similar.
Yes, pretty much the same thing. It's just entering into an agreement with Railway Auditing and Management Services in this case as opposed to Norfolk Southern, which is the previous resolution. Yeah, just paying the permit fee to allow right of use to replace or to conduct work there, so.
Thank you very much. Any additional council comments on Resolution 16? From the public? Hearing none, Mr. Harris?
Mr. Mayor? Aye. Mr. Arroyo?
Aye.
Mr. Please? Aye. Ms. Craig?
Aye.
Ms. Diaz?
Aye.
Mr. Hirsch?
Aye.
And President Baker.
Aye. That concludes our legislative agenda, if I'm following along correctly, and will take us to our second public comment period this evening. This is open for comment on issues not previously on the agenda. Duration of comments is limited to 3 minutes per speaker, and please begin with your name and block of residence for our meeting record. If anyone wishes to make public comment, please come up to the podium at this time. All right, hearing none, we'll close the second public comment period this evening, and we will move to our next item, which is the report of the mayor. Mayor Sarachi.
Thank you, Council President. First, I'm pleased to share that the City of Lancaster, along with the School District of Lancaster, was awarded $74,000 by the Pennsylvania Commission on Crime and Delinquency. The state grant will allow the school district and partners to research and design an effective cross-sector intervention strategy to reduce gun and group-related violence in Lancaster, and I'm truly grateful for our partnership with the district. Additionally, applications for police officers and cadet positions are now open. We are eager to bring on new officers and cadets. The cadet program, as you know, bridges the gap between high school graduation and turning 21 for those who are interested in pursuing a career in law enforcement. The applications just opened on February 1st, and we have 77 officer applications so far and 260 people who have expressed interest. Encourage all of you to help us get the word out, so thank you in advance, and check out lcbpcareers.com for more information. And second, I want to spotlight the Department of Neighborhood Engagement. It's become a tradition that on Valentine's Day, which is coming up on Friday, and I know everybody's just thinking about the Eagles Parade, but do not forget your Valentines. The department announces new initiatives and launches applications for their longstanding programs. The staple, Love Your Block grants are back. Now entering its 7th year, the program awards grants to residents dedicated to revitalizing their neighborhoods through community-led projects. Love Your Block is made possible through the generous support of the High Foundation. We're also launching the Neighborhood Art Project, which is designed to encourage public art and creative placemaking in our neighborhoods. So a call for artists will also go out on February 14th, inviting local artists to apply for opportunities to create public art that reflects the vibrancy and diversity of Lancaster community. The Neighborhood Art Project is supported by the National Endowment for the Arts, and you can learn more about these programs and apply to take part at cityoflancaster.gov/neighborhoods. And that concludes my report tonight. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, Mayor Sarachi. The next item on the agenda is the report of President of Council. I do not have a report to make this evening, so we'll move to our next item, which is council comments. Are there any council comments this evening?
Council President, if I may.
Councilor Ahmed.
I just wanted to report back to the members of council that the Government Study Transition Committee did meet on January 29th and went over the purview of our work, which is to make sure and ensure the transition to a home rule charter moves in a timely manner with both the Administrative Code and the Ethics Commission. Our next meeting will be Tuesday, April 29th at 5 p.m. in council chambers. It'll also be live streamed, and I just wanted to report back that we did meet, and the purview of our work is to ensure the timely transition to the newly elected home rule charter. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Councilor Ahmed, and I appreciate you taking the time to serve on that important board. Any additional council comments? Hearing none, and reach the end of our agenda this evening, I'll hear a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. We're adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
So while I was reading those, I spotted 2 typos, so I'll be